What's Gucci with the veterans military? Today we're going to be talking about how you get best prepared for 2024, year of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac, when it comes to VA disability claims process. How to prep, the best strategy moving forward. Let's get into it. So, first of all, regardless of where you're starting, whether you're military, active duty, Marine Corps, Air Force, Army, veteran, 2 years, 2 months, wherever you stand at, you want to make sure you evaluate where you're currently at in the VA claims process and see how you can move forward. What's your current VA rating? If it's 30%, okay. Use your service treatment record to see everything that you can possibly file a direct service connection for. No? Well, review your service treatment record, your medical record from the time in which you served in the military. Review it. All complaints, all diagnosis, take note of that. For any complaints that you have that you don't have a diagnosis for, if it's significant enough for you to want to fight for, you got to get a diagnosis. You got to get some medical evidence, especially if you're trying to get a VA rating for it, not just get a service connection. They still get treated at the VA post-military service. But if you want to get compensated for some things like sleep apnea, PTSD, insomnia, migraines, chronic sinusitis, allergic rhinitis, you're still going to need a current day diagnosis. Make sure you do that due diligence. For those veterans who want to get an increase, first of all, I would say prior to submitting that claim, you want to make sure you start your intent to file. Maintain and start that effective date, so whenever you do build that medical evidence, or even if you don't, at least you got a year to prep that claim package together and submit it to the VA. But prior to that, you want to make sure that whenever you do submit that claim, everything that you submit, well, whether it's from one disability to whoever, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you have medical evidence that can maintain you for all of your disabilities across the board. What does that look like? Okay, say you just want to go in for an increase to your VA disability rating for PTSD. Cool, you had 30%, you want to at least get 50%. Okay, but you're also service connected for tinnitus. You also service connected for migraines at 10%, both of them. You want to make sure you have medical evidence to support them maintaining themselves at 10%, regardless if you're only going for just one disability increase for that VA for PTSD. You still want to make sure that you're maintaining medical evidence across the board, just to alleviate the risk and the potential for the VA to reevaluate those. New Year's coming up, 2024. I don't know how the VA is going to be working, how they're going to be acting this year. I know this year they had some VA proposals come out. They haven't really resurfaced again, but it always has the opportunity to come out. So you want to make sure that you put yourself in the best position to fight any battles that are coming along the way. Next, for those trying to seek, secondary disabilities, you definitely need to study the CFR 38 and make sure that you're getting in with your doctor, establishing the causation. No secondary disability will be service connected to that already service connected disability if your medical evidence doesn't show causation from the primary disability, if that makes sense. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's pretty much if you're service connected for PTSD and you're taking medication, you're seeing your therapist, you start gaining weight over a couple of months, a couple of years, whatever the case may be. And now, through all that, your symptomology, the medication, now it has caused sleep apnea. Now it has caused diabetes. Now it has caused, high blood pressure, hypertension, things of this nature. So you definitely want to make sure that you're, one, keeping track of this. Stay in with your doctor. Most veterans only want to get into the doctor when they think they can get an increase or when they want to get a VA rating increase. But if you haven't been putting in that work all the months up until you have that thought, the VA is going to look at that like, okay, well, you only went in once or twice, 2-3 months, you submitted a claim, and now you think we're going to give you 70% for what? For why? Why? Out of all of a sudden. So you definitely want to maintain medical continuity across all your disabilities, mainly for some of those big hidden VA ratings. When it comes to PACT Act presumptives or presumptive disabilities, you just need to, what the VA is mainly looking for is deployment history as well as duty station history. Some veterans, they were deployed overseas in these combat zones, such as Iraq, Afghanistan, various parts of Africa, whatever the case may be. Pardon me. And that serves as your link to service for any disability that you're trying to file presumptive, whether it be Go For presumptive, PACT Act presumptive, whatever the case may be. But you still need a current diagnosis. Without a diagnosis, the VA, they're going to look at that. They're going to acknowledge, yeah, we see that we took an additional 90 days to verify, yes, you did deploy here, or yes, you were stationed here, Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, Europe, whatever the case may be, a hostile zone. But you would definitely want to make sure that you have a diagnosis today. Now, if you served back in 2003 and you haven't been seeing a doctor for the last 10, 15 years, and now you think you want to get VA disability, all this stuff, good jazz, hey, it's cool, but you got to do your due diligence. If you haven't been seeing a doctor for the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you got to explain that in a personal statement. Explain what circumstances, what was the reason why you stopped going to the doctor post-military, or maybe 2-3 years post-military. Maybe you started it and then you just say, hey, what is your reason why? Majority of veterans' reasons why they go to the doctor, they may not they might not be going enough, they may not be saying the right things. They're obviously not as open because mental health ratings, hey, they're not as open when it comes to reporting symptomology, reporting impacts to their personal life, reporting impacts to their work life, to that therapist, recording specific symptomology associated with the VA rating in which they're trying to obtain per individual disabilities and at each different level. That's what's going to get you to whatever your goal is. If it's 70%, 80%, 100% permanent, motherfucker, told you can't touch me. Whatever the case may be, a lot of veterans, you got to start with the education, start with the work. You got to put in the work as well as getting into the doctor. I don't know why getting into the doctor is the hardest step for veterans when they want to get, when they start talking about VA disability ratings and compensation and benefits. Yeah, we all want it, but we got to put in that work. I would recommend get with a good veteran service organization. A good veteran service organization, whether it be Wounded Warrior Project, DAV, was that Disabled American Veterans, VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, whatever the case may be, wherever you're located, it may be good. I know West Coast, well, I don't know. At least Wounded Warrior Project here on the West Coast is good. It may be shitty on the East Coast. It may be shitty in Texas. Maybe shitty in Ohio. Whatever the case may be, shop around. Don't just settle with the VSO just because it's convenient to you. A lot of veterans, they get complacent and they just go to the county VSO that's 2 minutes down the street, who really don't give a fuck about your claim. They haven't been keeping up with the VA claims process. They haven't been keeping up the research. They don't have access to VBMS, which is the Veterans Benefit Management System, the system which VSOs, the VA Rater, CMP examiners push shit into, basic. It's like basic things that every VSO should have, that veteran service officer, but not a lot of them have it. And majority of those county VSOs don't have it. Yeah, I know I talk a lot of ish about county VSOs, but they gotta step it up. Step it up or retire. Make room for possible veterans and or civilians, individuals who actually want to help veterans out in the long term. But as long as when it comes to my own personal experience with Wounded Warrior Project, they were awesome, amazing. I recommend them out to all veterans, all my buddies. I just had wonderful, pleasant experience with them. I was with VFW prior to, absolute ghost, Casper, motherfucker. Where they at? So hey, but all depends on you. Definitely, you could definitely do everything by yourself, but I would say yes, you can do that, but you can always have that VSO to vet check everything. Vet check it. I'm talking about. So, but hey, y'all like this type of content? Let your boy know. Yes, I have been getting a lot of questions in the comment sections and stuff like that. Do you do consulting? Do you help veterans out? Yes, I do consulting. I do charge a fee, like most people. It's not gonna break the bank. If you want consulting, the email link in the description area of the channel. A lot of veterans said they can't see it, but I can fucking see it. So maybe y'all need to get service connected for your eyeballs because y'all can't fucking see shit. But anyways, y'all like this type of content, let your boy know. This Debo out.